Good afternoon, everybody. Very nice to all see you in this webinar, and welcome to this webinar. And above all, thank you. Thank you for taking the time. Thank you for taking the time to come and listen to us, but hopefully also to talk with us, because there will be obviously at the end a Q&A session. So do not hesitate to talk. That's what makes the webinar even richer. Just a bit of housekeeping before we do so. At the bottom of your screen, you have a little Q&A button. So if you have any question during this webinar, do not hesitate to use this Q&A button. Use the Q&A button and not the chat, because the Q&A button will make sure that we can keep track of your questions and that we won't forget any of those questions. So, but let's get now into our topic this afternoon. So, the reason why we're here today is because by now, most likely, you've been, as a retailer or an agency, contacted by a CSS, and a CSS who wanted you to use them to advertise your product on shopping ads, or possibly also to manage themselves your shopping ads campaign on your behalf. And most likely you went like, why? Why now? Why should I do this? What's in it for me? Well, what's in it for you is the improvements that a CSS can bring to your shopping ads campaign. And this is exactly what we're going to talk today. We're going to talk about how a CSS can improve your shopping ads campaign. So, to do so today, we've separated this webinar in two parts. The first part will be by Google, and where Google explains shopping ads, how it works, and the different products that you have. And in the second part, I will talk to you about how Kelkoo can very concretely improve your performance on shopping ads. After that, in future episodes, we will go a bit deeper, and we will explain how to set up your merchant center, how to optimize your campaigns from the get-go, and how a CSS like Kelkoo can help you on this way. In also further future episodes, short episode this times, we will concentrate on little merchant cases where you will see concretely what we've done with the merchants and the results for those merchants. But let's go back to our topic for today. And our topic for today, how to drive more sales on Kelkoo, on Google shopping ads with a CSS like Kelkoo. So, if you press to the next slide, please. Today we have two speakers, so I'm going to be impolite and start to introduce myself briefly. So my name is Vincent. I'm the Global Partnership Director at Kelkoo, and I'm basically in charge of a team of PPC consultants who are helping retailers across Europe to improve their PPC campaigns or their social campaigns. I guess that's all you need to know about me at this point. So I will give now the mic to my colleague Fabien from Google, who will present himself and then talk to you about shopping ads.
Great. Thank you very much, Vincent. So hi, everyone. Very happy to see that many people connected. So my name is Fabien. I'm a shopping specialist and account manager at Google. I've been working at Google for 2 years now. I work in a team called Perfex, so taking care of comparison shopping services, so CSSs. Joining me today, I have Colin and Frederic that will introduce themselves.
Hi, everyone. My name is Frederic. I work in Google, and I'm heading all the business operations for shopping ads via CSS in EMEA. And Fabien and Colin here are in my team. Very nice to be here.
Yeah, just a very, very brief introduction. My name is Colin. I've been at Google for about 8 years, working with comparison shopping service providers over the last 2 years. And I'm a manager working alongside Fred and Fabien. Very happy and excited to be here.
Thank you. So if we're here today is to talk about shopping ads, right? Makes sense. And the goal today is really to cover the basics of shopping ads, to make sure that you know what they are, how they work, how to run them, how the shopping auction system works. So today is really like the basics of shopping ads. So then we can go further in the second webinar talking about feed optimization, campaign optimization, and really like go a bit deeper. So let's start with the basics. What are shopping ads? So shopping ads are impactful ads for products that appear for relevant queries on Google general search result pages. So if you look for a shampoo for dry hair, for example, you can see, as in the screenshots on the displayed on the deck, the shopping ads. So worth noticing that they can appear on Google general search result pages, but also on the shopping tab and on other surfaces like YouTube, for example. So they are impactful ads. They are highly visible because they appear at the top of the page. They're highly visual as well because they display the picture of the product. And when a user clicks on it, they will be directly redirected to the relevant product page on your website. So taking the users straight to a purchase point. Shopping ads are highly relevant as well because the way they are triggered is to match users' search terms with what you have in your product feed. So for example, if a user is looking for gray sofa bed, we will match the query with products that are a gray sofa bed. So that's why here it's super important that you do have put great information about your product, relevant information and complete information about your product, so we can actually match the relevant product to the queries. And last but not least, in shopping ads, the elements that are being shown in the shopping ad are the key elements of the product. So we show the picture, we show the name of the product, we show the price of the product, we show the retailer / brand of the product, and other interesting information for the users, like customer ratings or a discount or things that can help the user and take the decision to actually click on the ad. So here again, it's super important that all the information that are being displayed on the shopping ad are relevant to the users. So hence the need to make sure that the quality of your product feed is important. So if I have to summarize shopping ads in a nutshell, the objective of shopping ads is to help you drive online sales by having highly visually impactful ads being shown to users who are interested in the products you are selling and redirecting them directly to a purchase point. Those shopping ads, they are available in 21 countries across the European Economic Area and Switzerland. We launched shopping ads last year in 5 countries, being Finland, Greece, Hungary, Romania, and Slovakia. So in those 21 countries, you can run shopping ads. To be able to do so, you need 4 main things on top of an e-commerce website, of course. One is a merchant center, where you can have all the information related to your business. Then is the product feed. So it's all the information related to your products. So the information we discussed before, so like the key ones, the title, the price, the name, but also all the relevant features that users may find interesting, like the description, or the attributes like the color for apparel, or the fabric for apparel, for example. Everything needs to be in the product feed. Then you need a Google Ads account, of course, to be able to run the shopping ad campaigns. And you need to select at least one CSS comparison shopping services. You can have one or you can have several CSSs, completely up to you. So CSSs, you have a wide variety of CSSs available in Europe to choose from. We have a CSS partner website that you can check called the Comparison Shopping Partners at withgoogle.com. And those CSSs, they provide different types of services, pricing, and expertise. So some CSSs would manage the campaign for you. Some will let you manage the campaign, but give you recommendations about the campaigns. They can price differently. They can have different technology, feed optimization, bidding, reporting. Some have a specific expertise about an industry. Some operate in just some countries. Some in all the 21 countries I mentioned before. So you have like, yeah, every CSS has its own, each CSS has its own expertise and services for you to have a look. So I would recommend you to have a look at the portal and to look at this. So to summarize, if you want to place shopping ads in EEA and Switzerland, it's CSSs that can place shopping ads on the Google general search page. And if you want to place shopping ads, you need to participate through any CSSs of your choice. If you look at the shopping ad, at the bottom of the shopping ad, this is where you can find the name of the CSSs. So here on this picture, it's by CSS 3, 1, 2, 4, 5. That's where you can see it on the shopping ad. So you might wonder now, how does the shopping auction work for shopping ads? So to make it a bit simple, who wins the auction depends on both the bid, the quality, and the relevance of the ad. We're going to have a look at a quick video after that to show you some examples of how it works if a merchant goes through one CSS or several CSSs. But to make it simple, to simplify, we will assume that in the quick video we'll see all the ads have the same relevance and quality, so that it's only the bid that is the decisive factor. So in the video, we'll have the example of Mary and Joe that both sell shoes online. And in the first case, they use one CSS, and in the second case, they use several CSSs. Let's have a look.
How much they would be willing to pay, quality and relevance of the ad. Let's look at a couple of examples. For simplicity, we will assume all ads have the same relevance and quality, and the bid is the decisive factor. Mary runs a large online shoe store. She works with Super CSS to place shopping ads. Joe runs a shoe store in Madrid. He works with All Shoe CSS to tailor shopping ads to his needs. The next time a shopper looks for a new pair of sneakers, both Mary and Joe hope to get their attention with their shopping ads. The auction begins. Super CSS bids 25 cents to place Mary's ad, while All Shoe CSS bids 20 cents on Joe's behalf. Assuming all other factors were equal, since Mary CSS bids more, she gets the best ads placement. But Super CSS only pays 20 cents, which is the amount of the next highest bid. Mary decides to work with additional CSSs. She hires Google Shopping and Impact CSS for the different pricing models and features that they offer. Joe also adds Apparel CSS because they will only charge him if his ads turn into a purchase. They all participate in the next auction. Impact CSS bids 30 cents, Super CSS bids 25 cents, and Google Shopping bids 15 cents on behalf of Mary. While All Shoe CSS bids 20 cents, and Apparel CSS bids 10 cents on behalf of Joe. Since the Impact CSS bid is the highest, Mary wins the auction again. But Impact CSS still only pays the 20 cents that All Shoes bid on behalf of Joe. The price paid to maintain the position is never determined based on the bids from other CSSs for the same merchant. What matters is the next best bid for a different merchant. What Impact CSS charges Mary for the click depends on the agreement they have. For example, Impact CSS may charge a fixed CPC of 30 cents for each click, or they may only charge Mary a commission if the click indeed led to a sale. For more tips on participating in the shopping ads auction, visit the Help Center.
So here it is. No, let's not play it again. I think one time was enough. So in a nutshell, what you have to keep in mind is that in EEA and Switzerland, only CSSs can place shopping ads. And you can use one or several CSSs at the same time. Second, all CSSs have the same opportunities to place ads on your behalf, and no ad space is reserved for any particular CSS. And then, like it was just said in the video, a merchant will never be second priced against itself in an auction. So you can use one CSS, two CSSs, 10 CSSs. You will never be second priced against yourself. So that's the main thing I wanted to tell you about the shopping auction. And now I want to finish by showing you a little bit of the diversity of formats we have on shopping. Because so far what I've showed you is what we tend to call product listing ads, or PLAs. You will listen to this term PLA quite a lot. And I wanted to make you discover two other formats. The first one, it's called showcase ads. Let's have a look at how it looks. So you can see it here on the screen. It looks quite similar to PLA, but the difference is that all the pictures you see here, it's actually the same ad. So it's one merchant, here it's Wayfair, and all the pictures you see is it's the one ad for Wayfair. If you want to see the second ad that is from Pottery Barn, you have to click on the Pottery Barn, then you have CB2. So here the goal actually is to display several products to the same user as a way to inspire the user. We tend to showcase ads when the query is quite generic, so it can be useful for the user to see a diversity of products from you. So here, for example, the query is coffee tables. I'm not that precise, so maybe it can be worth for me and for you to show me different coffee tables you're selling. While what we saw before, if I'm looking for a gray leather sofa for 5 seats, maybe a PLA would be good because I quite know already what I want. So showcase ads is particularly interesting for product categories where you need to be inspired, like apparel, like home and garden, like beauty and cosmetics, for example. So, and they are available in the UK, France, Germany, Netherlands, Sweden, and Ireland. So if you work in a product category that where you need to inspire users, and if you are running shopping ads campaign in those countries, I strongly recommend that you do have a look at this format. We tend to see great results when it comes to for brands to get new customers that discover your brand through this format. So that's showcase ads. So that's the first format I wanted to share with you. The second one is called local inventory ads. So we know that many people look for information online and actually go buy the products offline. And the goal of local inventory ads is to make the link between the offline and the online world. So to give you a number, 83% of shoppers who visited a store in the last week said they search online before going to a store. And the goal of local inventory ads is to help users know where they can purchase the product they saw on the local inventory ads. How it looks like this. So you can see here below the picture, you can see that there is written 0.9 miles away. So this is an indication to the user where they can actually buy the product they see online. So how it works, local inventory ads tend to serve when there is a local intent from the user. So looking to buy something near me, to where to buy a specific product. They tend to be displayed as well when a user is close to one of your shops. So you can decide, for example, if a user is less than 2 kilometers away from one of your shops, you can decide to show a local inventory ads. But if the user is more far than 2 kilometers away from your shop, to show a regular product listing ad. And local inventory ads are more likely to serve as well on mobile devices where people can actually move and go to the store. So those local inventory ads is available in Austria, Denmark, France, Germany, Netherlands, Norway, Sweden, Switzerland, and the UK. And we tend to see a greater CTR on the local inventory ads than on a regular shopping ad. So it's worth considering as well if you have brick and mortar stores in those countries to consider doing local inventory ads. So this is what I wanted to share with you today. So really understand the basic of shopping ads, everything that is possible to do with shopping ads. And next time I will be able to go a bit deeper and really tackle the topics of how to improve the quality of your feed and how to improve the shopping campaigns as well. So I'm going to give the mic to Vincent.
Thank you very much. So we're going to try to change screen now without destroying the whole thing. So here we go. So I guess everybody can see my screen okay. So let's get right into it. So let's go back to the auction system for a bit. So as Fabien said, if you want to advertise your product in those boxes, in those PLA boxes, you need to enter an auction. And for this auction, let's consider actually 3 retailers, retailers 1 to 3. One bid 31, the second one 29, the third one 27. As Fabien explained, the highest bid wins, and the price of the click will be actually calculated on the second highest bid. So now, as a retailer who wants to advertise your product on shopping ads, you have today 2 choices. The first one is to go through Google Shopping. The second one is to go through Kelkoo Group. Now, from a technical point of view, if you take one way or the other, there is no difference. You still have, as was mentioned before, a merchant center, ads account, etc. From an auction point of view, you are reaching exactly the same auctions. From an audience point of view, you are reaching the same audience as well. And from a user experience point of view, as Fabien was mentioning briefly, it's the same. As a user, if you click on one of those products that you see on PLA, you will land on the product page of the merchant. So if you take one way or the other, at this moment, there is no difference. So where lies actually the difference or differences? Well, as Google explained on their support page, if you bid through Google Shopping, a provisional margin will be taken off by Google Shopping before your bid reaches the auction. So for sake of argument, you bid 5, Google Shopping takes 1. The real bid in the auction for you is 4. When you bid the other way with Kelkoo Group, if you put 5, your bid remains untouched and will be 5. So now there is quite a lot of confusion about this whole system. We've heard a lot of confusion on the market. So let's state the facts for a bit. So basically, there is no rebate granted to CSSs. This doesn't exist. The fact is, again, that Google Shopping takes a provisional margin of your bids before they reaches the auction. So when you go through a CSS like Kelkoo, what is actually happening is that you bypass this margin. That's what happens. So for sake of demonstration today, and I'm sure you've heard this value on the market, so that's why we're going to take 20% as a value. But as just in plain, this 20% is actually the margin of Google Shopping. So therefore, I don't know what the exact value is. Is that 20%? Is that 15? Is that 25? I don't know. But again, for sake of argument today, let's take the 20%. So let's go back to the auction and let's introduce now this little change that retailer 1 and 2 are working with Google Shopping. Retailer 3 is working with Kelkoo. What is happening then is that the 31 bid with Google Shopping becomes 25, because 20% of 31 is 6.2, so let's round it up to 25. And 29 becomes 23. However, the third bid 27 remains unchanged, remains 27. So what's happening is that the bid with Kelkoo will go up the stairs, will go up the ladder, and will end up in the first position and win the auction. And then the same principle apply. If you get clicked, you will pay based on the second highest bid. So again, I insist on the fact that this is a bidding advantage. This is not a rebate. So don't expect, if you switch to a CSS like Kelkoo, don't expect your CPC to drop by exactly 20%. Because first of all, it's an advantage, not a rebate. And second of all, you are still in a dynamic auction environment, meaning that if you switch to a CSS, we still cannot predict how your competitors are going to behave. We cannot predict how aggressively they're going to be. So therefore, never expect if you switch to a CSS to get this exact 20% rebate on your CPC. Now, to be perfectly honest with you, according to the experience that we gathered over the past 3 years, well, we've rarely seen a CPC drop by exactly 20%. Actually, we've seen higher. We've seen CPC dropped up to 38%, which was absolutely huge and is our record so far. Sometimes the CPC didn't change and remained stable. But in both cases, it was always coupled with a significant increase of traffic and therefore significant increase of clicks. Because keep in mind that, as we were saying earlier, the user experience is the same. So if you work with a CSS or if you work with Google Shopping, the user will still go from the image to your website and your website with your conversion rate. So there is no changes there either. So basically, to sum this whole thing up, well, you get more click, you get the clicks at a lower or equal CPC, but you get more sales. Therefore, your return on investment, your ROAS, becomes better. And that's exactly what we do. So now, we've talked about the auction, but actually the auction is one thing, but it's not all about the auction. So let me address that as well, because I'm sure some of you think that it's a possibility. The placement in the auction does not depend on the CSS. If you take CSS A or CSS B or Kelkoo, they all have access to the same bidding advantage. What actually influences your placement? It's all the Google criteria that we know. So quality of your feed, relevancy, quality of your products, the prices, images, customer feedback, bidding, etc., etc. So in our opinion at Kelkoo, the CSS has to be an additional lever to basically make those points that we just mentioned stronger and therefore improve your performance. A CSS at Kelkoo should be a partner that is there at your service, not only to help you bypass a margin, but really help you to increase your performance. So in conclusion, I would say, and this one I'm going to take it easy and read it, it's a CSS should be able to leverage different aspects of your product and of your feed and the different features available in the shopping ads environment to boost your business. This is what it's all about, your business, your performance. And our philosophy at Kelkoo is that we need to be more than a bidding advantage. We need to be a partner. When you choose a CSS like Kelkoo, what is happening is that Google Teams cannot help you anymore on your shopping ads queries. So every challenges, every policy issues, that you have, every optimization that you can do, this is up to the CSS to provide the service. This is up to the CSS to provide you the support that you need. So it's actually our mission. It's the mission that we have given us, that we have given ourselves in proper English, sorry. It's the mission that we have given ourselves that the CSS is here to bring you everything you need to optimize your business, to go further than where you are already now. Basically, if you ask me, a CSS should become part of your PPC team, should be either an additional member of your team, should be an additional arm to your team, but should be, in any case, an additional member, a support for your PPC team. And to achieve all that, what we've done at Kelkoo is that we said, okay, let's create a team of PPC consultants, experienced PPC people who have an excellent knowledge of the Google environment. And this team that we have created is regularly trained on all the new products, on all the new Google products. They're always on top of the newest releases and aim to stay that way. And they have access to market data that can help us to improve your business on a daily basis and make sure that you're ready for all the big periods of the year. That's how we choose to do it at Kelkoo. So again, not only a bidding advantage, but really a team that is at your service, that is part of your own PPC team. When you start working with Kelkoo, you actually get a dedicated PPC manager. Most likely we'll speak your language because we speak actually quite a lot of language already in this team. But I'm sure you're going to find the language that we don't speak. But anyway, we aim to speak your language and bring you this individual support on absolutely all the aspects of the campaigns. So everything around your shopping strategy, around your bidding strategy, around how to build your campaigns, we can support you on that. Everything that has to do with GMC migration, with GMC settings, build up, we can help you on that. We can give you a lot of tips. We can improve how to improve your feed, how to make your feed more relevant. And we can give you access to a lot of data, which could give you information about your visibility and about the business of your competitors. Obviously, we can also help you with any troubleshooting because we've seen quite a few cases so far, so rely on us. So, you know what? I would say to conclude that tell us what you need, tell us where it hurts, and we have somebody at Kelkoo to help you for that. Now, let me talk to you about a few concrete examples. So we have a merchant, a fairly known department store in the UK. I won't give the names, obviously, but because I'm giving a few numbers. But those people have started working with us, let's say a year ago now, more or less. And for the last Mother's Day, thanks to the work of our PPC consultant, we managed to drive 122% more clicks year on year, plus 254 impressions. But again, what's most important for us is the plus 122 clicks. Even for the fashion department, which was a bit tricky during this pandemic, we managed through our work to drive an additional 150% of clicks compared to last year. So we do work for your performance. Another quick example about a football retailer, actually football boots retailer. Fairly small retailer, but with a lot of ambitions. And he has a lot of, his focus is football boots. And on the football boots, we could actually manage to drive 8% quarter on quarter more clicks by keeping the same CPC. So meaning better ROAS. For the basketball category, which was a side business for this person, has become now one of the main business because we've been able to drive a lot of value. But for this basketball business, we grew the clicks by 281% year on year. And at the same time, we managed to decrease our CPC by 19%. So again, a massive improvement of the ROAS. And exactly, this is what we do every day. This is what we work on every day. This is how we can, with working on your feed, working on your settings, working on your campaigns, we can improve your performance. So as we were saying in introduction, in the next webinar, we will actually talk to you about, we'll go a level deeper, let's say, and we will talk about settings. We will talk about how to build your campaigns, how to set up your merchant center, how to bring everything optimized from the get-go. And we will talk obviously how Kelkoo can help you in this case to optimize all your different settings. But in the meantime, you can go to our website on kelkoogroup.com And you have a little part called Insight and Case Studies. In this part, you can find actually quite a lot of cases of merchants, like this one, for example. Don't worry about the link, we'll circulate the links afterwards. But you can find cases about those people with all the merchants that are working with us, been working with us for months or years, and always a few numbers, a testimony, and concrete example on how we could help them. So with this, I'll actually open the floor for questions now. I see there are already a few questions in the Q&A box, but feel free really to ask your questions, because again, that's what makes webinars always better. And don't forget that if you have this question, somebody else might have it as well. So don't be shy and ask your questions. So I see a first question from Eva. If we could send the slides afterwards, we'll make a version available. We'll record actually this webinar, and therefore you can see all the slides and you can see all the comments in replay. Well, I think I have a question for our colleagues at Google. How are showcase bids compared to PLAs?
Fabien, can you take that one?
Yeah, absolutely. So there is no that general rule about it, but they tend to be slightly lower because they are more on mobile. We tend to have like a lower CPCs. So they tend to be lower.
Right. We have then a question from Martin Rhodes. Does 20% discount apply in all placement of smart shopping campaigns, and for example, in YouTube? So very good question, Martin. Thank you very much. So the 20%, again, as an example, because this is not a number, this is an estimation. This is not a confirmed number. But the discount applies on the placement for shopping ads and doesn't apply for placement on YouTube. So when you have a smart shopping campaign and you will have, let's say, impressions on YouTube, images maybe, or shopping ads, your bidding advantage will only apply on the part of the traffic that is coming from shopping ads. I hope it makes sense. This is the moment where we miss actually having the audience in the just in front of us, because then we could have a bit more interaction. But I hope, Martin, I could answer your question properly, and I hope it makes sense for you.
Maybe I can just add one comment to this, Vincent, if you're okay. This notion of margin or fees taken by Google Shopping applies only on ads showing on the Google search page, the main search page. So as per se, YouTube and images, for example, are not on the Google search page, and therefore this margin doesn't apply here.
Good. So next question. You mentioned that part of the ad placement is determined by factors such as quality of feed, existing customer feedback, etc. How does existing customer feedback affect this? And where is the customer feedback data pulled from to affect this? And there is a second question to that. Does it have to be on merchant website under the specific product, or does it somehow have to be included in the feed?
I can take that one. So if you look at your merchant center, actually you have the opportunity to add customer ratings to your shopping to your products. So I will send you a link where you can have more information about it, but it's information that you have on your website about the products. So you can like take them to put them as well in the shopping ad. But everything is in the merchant center.
Thank you. There is a question from Eva. Can you elaborate on the 20% margin for Google, please? So I guess this question has been answered in the rest of the webinar. Again, we'll circulate the slide afterwards. And there is also a support page where Google explains the mechanism that we can circulate as well if needed. So there is a question that is a bit vague, I'm afraid. It says quid of smart shopping campaigns. Well, maybe I can try to answer what I think the question is. So again, your bidding advantage will work if you have a smart shopping campaign or not. And if you work with a CSS like Kelkoo, if you work with Google Shopping, you can do smart shopping campaigns in both cases. So I guess that's probably what was behind the question, wasn't it? But if not, do not hesitate to put another question in the chat. Next question. After moving GMC to a CSS, what's the best approach with Google Ads bidding in the first moments? Reduce, not reduce? Can you detail a best case scenario approach from a purely online retailer? Well, thank you for your question. Extremely good question. So basically, the idea is when you switch your GMC from Google to a CSS, the first thing not to do is to change anything. Why? Because there are algorithms behind who are working on your product and working on making visibility for you. If you change anything as well as you change from Google Shopping to another CSS, well, it's a lot more to learn for the algorithm, and therefore it will probably take more time for you to see the impact. So what we are saying to all our customers when they switch from Google Shopping to us, is that we say, give us 2 weeks, because 2 weeks is the official history span on Google Shopping. Give us 2 weeks, we don't touch anything, and we look first in which direction you're going. Are you going in a direction where the CPC is dropping a lot, but the level of impression remains the same? Or is your impression growing and your CPC doesn't drop too much? We can't say in advance what the behavior will be. So what we say to our retailers is really, don't touch anything for the first 2 weeks. Let us time to gather a bit of data. And once we've seen how the system reacts in your case, in your competition area, in your auction rooms, then Kelkoo can help you to actually direct those KPIs in the direction that you wish. Because if you work with us, we'll definitely have the discussion. We'll have, okay, what are your KPIs? What is your plan to 3, 6, 12 months? What do you want to achieve? And based on what you want to achieve, we will guide you and we will help you to take the best advantage of this situation, basically. I hope, again, that makes sense as an answer. I'm still missing the interaction, but again, I hope it works. So can you explain how the bid cost is calculated if the relevance score for ads is not the same? Let's say one will have the score of 6 out of 10 and the other one 10 out of 10. Obviously the 6 out of 10 bid higher, but the chances of 10 out of 10 winning are higher. What will be the 10 out of 10 merchant pay? I guess this one is for you, Frédéric or Fabien.
Frédéric, can you take it? I didn't see the question actually.
Sorry. Yeah. So the question here is about relevance score and bid, the relationship here. So the auction system will really look at both the bid and the relevancy or the score of the product given the query, and then I would say we'd combine the two. So here that's where, in the example that we shown earlier in the video, we had assumed that the everything else was equal, only the bid was the difference. Now, when there's a difference as well in the score, the relevancy score here, that gets a bit more complicated. So it's very hard to say here if which one will show first. But what we can say is to always valid is the price paid by the winning bid is always the next product for different merchant highest bid. So, and that is always true. So whichever comes next in the auction from a different merchant, that will be the price that you will be paying.
Right, thank you, Frédéric. So let's go now to the next question. Do you provide services related only to shopping ads, or do you have other sources of traffic? So at Kelkoo, we have different services for different sources of traffic. So what the type of service that we were talking about today was the service related to shopping ads, but we have other service related to affiliate. We can provide affiliate traffic. We can provide traffic from social networks. We can help you with a campaign on social networks. So the short answer is yes, we have several sources of traffic, but it basically depends on the service you are subscribing with Kelkoo. So I would just tell you, please contact us. Please tell us what you need, what you would like to do, and we will give you the answer, and we will give you which type of traffic we can provide you in this case, and how we can help you further with your business. So, do we have an advantage on Shopping tab? So, on Shopping tab, there is no advantage. The advantage is solely, again, on the PLA, on the emojis that you have on the search result page. However, if you work with the CSS or with Google Shopping, in both cases, you will appear in the Shopping tab. Vincent, you said that every policy issue will be dealt with the corresponding CSS. I have several campaigns that runs on wine products, and Google CSS is never very happy about it. And my campaigns tend to be limited or blocked from time to time. Does Kelkoo CSS have the same limitation as Google related to certain products? Yes, absolutely. Because at the end of the day, as I was showing in this graph with the two different ways, at the end of the day, you are showing your products on Google search result page. Therefore, you need to be in line with the Google search policies and with the Google Shopping policies. However, we can help you to find out what you need to change in your feed, in your website, because it could be several places, but we could definitely help you to find out what you need to adapt to be compliant, and therefore avoid those blockages from time to time. What is the cost of Kelkoo? What is billing model? Fee or percentage from CPC? Very good question. Thank you very much for asking as well. So the business model at Kelkoo on shopping ads is a percentage of your spend, of your monthly spend. So the way we've chosen to do this at Kelkoo is that we let you do your business, your bidding, create your sales. We obviously help you with that. And we'll take a percentage for that at the end of the month based on the total amount of money that you have invested in the months on shopping ads. So as a percentage of fee, it depends a lot on what you want to do, on the level of service that you need, and what your business is. So to get the exact amount that we would take, please contact us. Please talk to us, and we'll have an open discussion about, again, what you need, what you want to do, how we can help you, and therefore how much we will charge you. But again, it's a percentage commission on your investment on shopping ads at the end of the month. I'm actually personally very happy. There is a lot of questions. I'm sorry if it's a bit boring for some people, but it's a lot of questions. It's fantastic. Don't hesitate, continue. Right, so what custom label do you recommend to segment the shopping feed? Well, I'm afraid this question is going to be a question for the next webinar, actually. This is more the topics that we will address on the next webinar, and it's also dependent on exactly what you do. So I'm afraid it's a bit of a too long questions to answer now, but please, Gaëtan, contact us. Let's start a discussion on that, because we can help you offline. We can have a look at what are your products, and we can tell you how we would do it the best way we think works in this case.
Vincent, small thing on my side, since it's great that there's that many questions coming. I can type some answers if you want, so we can, when it's quite easy to answer in a few sentences if you prefer.
Sure.
So we can
Absolutely.
make sure we do answer everybody, right?
Sounds good. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Great. I see some.
So next question, sorry, you get me a bit dry. I need to drink from time to time. So CSS work to gambling industry or app game? Well, to be perfectly transparent again, CSS will work with any category that is accepted on Google search. So if Google policies allow that, the CSS will work for that. Is it possible to split a part of our feed and campaigns on different CSS? Yes, it is clearly possible. I would just say the real question, in my opinion, behind this is, what would you like to prove? What would you like to achieve? And based on that, then I can tell you if that makes sense to split feed and split campaigns. But theoretically, technically, yes, it is possible. Does that make sense? Does that bring something additional? Not necessarily. Again, depends on whatever your goal is. So I really insist on that. And again, it's a very good question for that. The service that we, sorry, excuse me. The service that we offer on Kelkoo really depends on what your goals are. So tell us what your goal is, and then we can tell you how to do it. So again, does that make sense to split campaign, split the feeds? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Just contact us, tell us what you want to do, and then we will give you a proper answer to this question. What does the competition report provided by Kelkoo contain? Very good question. Thank you very much. So the competition report basically contains information of where you are standing compared to your competition in terms of placement, sometimes in terms of price. So it's a mix really of positioning and price that we deliver. Again, contact us and we can send you a few examples and also a few examples of the actions that we get from those kind of reports. Are showcase ads also concerned with the difference in how to bid? Maybe Fabien, you want to take this one?
Yes.
So the question was, are showcase ads also concerned with the difference in how to bid?
Yeah. As long as it's on the general result page, yes, absolutely.
Next question. So with a CSS, an advertiser can save money on the bid auction, but discover the price of the CSS service. The price is justified by complementary service that the CSS, Kelkoo in this case, offers, like support, consultancy, feed optimization, and so on. Am I right? That is exactly right. That is exactly that. And you will also see that at Kelkoo, we don't want to force you to do anything. Come to us if you have a question, tell us what you want to do, tell us the level of service that you need, and we will also calculate prices based on that. So if you just need a basic service, we will offer you a relatively small price. If you want a complex service, obviously the price will be higher. But it's a very accurate and good definition of what we do. So thank you for that. Next one, from an affiliate network perspective, is there a point where increasing the CPA for CSS partners start giving diminishing returns? Well, again, it's one of those questions that are very difficult to answer out of the blue for the simple reason that it's a dynamic auction. So the answer that I can give you today on this might not be right anymore tomorrow. I could give you a fixed answer to this question if everybody would bid the same every day. But this is not what's happening. So in that case, I think it's a bit, unfortunately, the same. We would need to have a deeper conversation to be able to give you an answer on this one. So please contact us. I'll show afterwards an address where you can all contact us. So please contact us and we can have this conversation. You speak of migration from Google to Kelkoo. Can I migrate from another CSS? Yes, you can migrate from another CSS. You can migrate to any CSS to any other CSS. like you can migrate to a CSS back to Google Shopping if you want. The migration goes in every direction and goes from any CSS. So absolutely no problem with that. If a merchant does Google Shopping ads themselves and then also uses CSS on the CPA model, if the CSS happens to be the higher on the same product, what the merchant is bidding for, doesn't the CSS then seem to cannibalize sales in this case, considering that both the CSS and merchant have bid higher than competitor merchant? So on this question, as Fabien was saying, basically Google recognized not the CSS who is bidding, but recognize the merchant behind the CSS. So there is a mechanism in place where you cannot bid against each other. And the question of cannibalizing sales, well, to be perfectly honest, I think is more a political issue than anything else, because if it's the CSS that bids on your behalf with the CPA model, or if you are bidding with your own PPC team, basically, if the user is clicking on your ad, the user will always land on your website. The only difference for you is how much you will pay for this sale. Either you will pay on a CPA model to the CSS, or you will pay on a pay-per-click model to Google Shopping. That's the only difference. But the fact is that the user still comes to your website and as the same as we were explaining earlier, as the same user experience, so goes from an image to your website, and will buy the product on your website. So is there any cannibalization? Maybe between two internal teams, between maybe the affiliate team that manage the CPA models and the PPC team, but there is no cannibalization of products because in both cases, the user is buying product on your website. So you cannot compete with yourself. To resume the whole thing, you cannot compete with yourself in the auction, so no cannibalization in that case. And the user is buying anyway on your website, so no cannibalization either. The only thing is that internally afterwards, you need to decide where you want to attribute the sale, if you want to attribute it to the team that managed the CPA model or to the team that managed the PPC campaign. I hope this answer makes sense, but again, feel free to contact us and I'm perfectly happy to continue this discussion offline. On average, how often do people click on the CSS partner link instead of the product in the Google Shopping search? Very interesting question. Very, very little. We don't even monitor that. That's how little this is. We do not have much people doing this really. So completely, let's say, I don't know. We don't know, it's too small. Next question, can you give recommendations by checking my product feed? Yes, we can. Yes, we can, absolutely. We have a lot of experience, so please rely on us. Same thing, contact us and we'll work on this with you. Absolutely no worries. Next question, when you say going to Google and CSS on that graph, does go to Google means retailer do Google Shopping ads by themselves instead of CSS? Yes, that's exactly what it meant. Thank you very much for asking. That's exactly what it meant. So it's a bit the same thing. So at Kelkoo, we have different level of service. They are the level of service where you can use us as a CSS and still manage your campaign. You remain at the steering wheel. You decide what you do, and we only here basically to bring you support and bring you maybe a few optimization propositions, but you manage the campaign. Or if you want, we can manage the campaign for you. It's your choice. It's basically what you need, what you want to do is your choice. We're not pushing you in any direction. So same thing, come to us, tell us what you need, and we'll tell you what we can do for you. Next question, if we use several CSSs, what would be the impact on our campaigns and bidding strategy? Interesting question. I'm afraid this is a bit of a too complicated question to answer now out of the blue, because again, it would depend on how many CSS, how do you split maybe your campaigns throughout the CSS, Are you doing the same campaign on each CSS? Are you doing different campaigns, etc., etc.? So there are a lot of setup possibilities, let's say, for this. So again, to answer this question properly, I would need more information, unfortunately. Next question. Why does Google not allow PLA shopping ads for non-physical products like online courses or travel packages, especially if there is a product feed available?
Yeah, I don't really have the answer to that question. It's just like right now, like it's not the kind of product that is being supported by shopping ads, but for sure we do update the policies and what's possible to advertise on shopping ads. So check the article on our help center and to know for which kind of product you can advertise for shopping ads and for which kind of product you cannot.
Thank you. Next question. Is it possible to run Kelkoo and Google Shopping in parallel? So yes, it is possible, but it is advisable. What would be the advantage? It's a good question. It's advisable. Again, it depends how you want to do it, how you want to split the campaigns. But in all honesty, most of our retailers always choose to migrate everything straight away to us. Because there is no real advantage in splitting in our experience. And again, it's only my and my team's at Kelkoo experience. There is no big advantage, but again, it probably depends how you want to run it. Do you want to split your feed? Do you want to put the same campaigns everywhere? It depends. So I would say in that case, same thing, come to us, talk to us, and we can tell you if that's truly advisable or not. What happens if someone clicks on the buy Kelkoo? Do I get charged for the click? Very good question, thank you. No. By the way, all the other questions were good. I just don't want to make any difference. It's just that it's been a while since I heard this question, so no. If somebody clicks on the buy Kelkoo, the user will be redirected to the Kelkoo page. So at this point, you are not paying anything. You're not paying for the click. If the user then clicks from the Kelkoo page on your product and is redirected to your website, this is when you get charged for a click. But on the buy Kelkoo, I insist, if any user clicks on the buy Kelkoo, you are not getting charged for the click. Local inventory ads. Did I get it right? Google is sending people to local shop, not to online sales. What is the benefit for networks and Kelkoo on CPA? Do you want to answer this one?
I guess it's more for you, right? What the benefits for Kelkoo?
Yeah.
I mean,
so
what? I'm sorry. No, go ahead.
So, sorry about that. So Google is sending people to local shops, yes, and not to online sales. Well, there is a possibility still. And what is the benefits for networks and Kelkoo on CPA? If you do Kelkoo on CPA, there is no local inventory ads. To do local inventory ads, you need specific settings that we cannot manage when we do the traffic on CPA at this point. So there is no local inventory ads if you work with Kelkoo on CPA. That's the answer. I'm just writing another answer quickly to a follow-up question. There you go. Sorry about that. So next question, is the product type is important for the quality? Because it was optional. I can take this one, but if you want to say something about this, Fabien, go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, I can. So it is important, but for sure what I would focus the most is the picture, the title, and budgeting as well, because it does help to make sure that it's relevant for the user's query. but it is important, and for sure, the more information you have about your products, including product type, the best for your feed. So the answer is yes, it's important.
Next question. The attendee said, thank you, Fabien. Next question, is Surface on Google, so the free ad placing, running in the UK? It seems that we are running Google Shopping ads, but always not available for surfacing. GMC says we have no feed, even though we have for Google Shopping ads. You want to take this one, Fabien, or should I?
Go ahead.
So Surface across Google, as far as I know, and please correct me, is not open yet in the UK. And without seeing your feed and your GMC at the moment, it's actually difficult to give you a proper answer. But I see you ask the question as anonymous. If you are working with us, please contact us straight away, and we will help you to put everything right so you can have access to the free ad placing as soon as they are available with Google. So please contact us, and we will help you to make everything the way it should. We're dealing with a lot of these at the moment. That's why I'm quite happy with this. So yeah, go ahead, contact us, and we will help you to put everything green so you can, as soon as they open it, you can benefit from it.
Yeah, I can add just one piece here is it has recently launched, but you need to make sure that you have selected a comparison shopping service for surfaces across Google. And depending on the setup you have, it may not be the case. So as Vincent said, if you're working with Kelkoo, I would encourage you to have a conversation with them to see if you have the correct setup. Otherwise, please refer to the Help Center article on this.
Thank you, Frederic. Right, next question. How does the whole system work when an affiliate partner wants to work for us as CSS partner? So I guess by the whole system, you mean the whole chain of event. So basically, if you work with an affiliate partner as a CSS partner, most likely you will have agreed a CPC or a CPA with this affiliate partner. And what's going to happen is that this affiliate partner is going to take this CPC, or let's say the estimated CPC resulting from the CPA contract, and we'll use this money to bid on your behalf on shopping ads. And then we'll try, obviously, to create the most value for you with the money that you give them with this CPC or this estimated CPC in the case of a CPA contract. So basically, you give money to the affiliate partner, and the affiliate partner uses this money to create traffic on shopping ads. That's exactly how it works. If it's not clear enough, please again contact us because yeah, this is a fairly easy system, and tell us again what you're doing, and we will tell you what to do. So next question, I already have a cooperation with another CSS. What would be the benefits for me to switch to Kelkoo? Well, that's a very interesting question. Basically, the benefit switching to Kelkoo, as we said, there is no benefit in the bidding advantage. That's the same. However, the big benefit of switching with Kelkoo is all the support that we can bring you around. First of all, the technical support that we can bring you, and also everything that we can give you to help you improve your campaigns, help you always drive more performance. And at Kelkoo, we also have different sources of traffic that I was mentioning earlier. So it could be two birds with one stone, as we say, sorry for the birds. But again, you could have a lot of different services with us. So please do not hesitate to talk with us, and we can give you based on your need as well, because everybody has specific needs. Again, tell us what you want, tell us where it hurts, and we will tell you what we can do for you and how we can do it. So yes, there is a lot of benefits, but it also depends on what you want to do. So again, please, Stefan Weitz, please contact us. Please contact us, and we'll have this discussion. So last question, it seems, if I'd like to switch our CSS, no, last question, another one came in just now. If I'd like to switch our CSS from Price Searcher to Kelkoo, is the simple process, and who can I contact at Kelkoo to help us with the switch? Well, that's a very good question. If you want to switch from Price Searcher to Kelkoo, it's a process that takes roughly 48 hours to give us a bit of time as well. It's an extremely easy process. You just need to give us an authorization with the number of your GMC and simply an email saying, I authorize myself, Dominic Scaife, to switch my GMC number, whatever, from Price Searcher to Kelkoo. And we will take care of the rest. And within 48 hours, your ads will not be shown by Price Searcher, but by Kelkoo. And you won't see any pause in your traffic. Your traffic will remain constant, and you won't see any stop or any pause in any of your KPIs. So it's an extremely safe and easy process. So who can you talk to at Kelkoo? Well, I'll give an address right after that, and you can send us an email and we will take care of that. So a few questions came in again. So this one is insert from Dominic, perfect. So what financial measurement stats should a merchant network look at when trying to optimize CSS campaign on a CPA model? Well, it's the return on investment. It's the king KPI for me. It's a very personal and it's a very personal opinion. But again, it's basically how does it cost you to generate so much revenue? So to me, the return on investment is the king. The CPC doesn't really matter. The amount of money invested doesn't really matter if the amount of money that comes back in is amazing. So really, to me, is the return. When optimizing my feed, should I focus more on title or product type? Well, I would say it depends of the time of the year. If it's a big period, depends what you're selling, because with different type of categories, people are looking for different things. So unfortunately, I would love to be able to give you a standard answer here, but I would say again, contact us because it highly depends on what you're selling. So tell us contact us, tell us what you sell, and then we will tell you what's most important, and we will also tell you how you can optimize. If it's title or product type, we can all help you to optimize those different attributes. But again, highly dependent on what you sell and what your targets are. So Giovanni says, sorry if this question has been answered before, don't worry about it. That's what we're here for. I still have a question about adding a new CSS. Since at the beginning of the ad campaign, I have to select a feed. Will I have a new feed with a new CSS? Will I have to duplicate my campaigns? Well, it's up to you. It's up to you. Theoretically and technically, it's all possible. You can duplicate a campaign. You can do this. We can duplicate an ads account if you want. But again, depends on what you want to do and what you want to prove. So it's a lot of possibilities available. Again, just unfortunately, I'm afraid I've repeated that way too much and I'm sorry about that. But again, tell us what you want to do. We will give you the right path for that. So I sell in DACH and USA and looking to expand to CEE. Where are you available? Well, we're available almost all around the world. We're available in 27 and we just opened another 10, so 37 countries across the globe. We're available everywhere in the EEA, in the European Economical Area. So yeah, we're available absolutely everywhere. We are in the US as well, recently in Canada, Brazil, and I lost count. So we're here everywhere, so don't worry about it, come to us. How is your campaign structure different to how others would do, and how will you make sure the CPC is low and conversion rate high? What makes Kelkoo different to other CSS in this regard? And don't worry for your question. So basically, we had a slide. Maybe we can go back to this slide. So this is, I don't know, this is basically, this slide is probably the best to tell you what we do differently from other CSS. So what we've done at Kelkoo is that we've created a team of PPC consultants that are highly capable on Google, that knows the Google ecosystem inside out, that are regularly trained, and that have access to market data to help you on your daily business and for the highest period of the year. So this is basically how we differentiate ourselves to the other CSS, that we have actually a large range of service behind. And how we can make sure that the CPC is low and the conversion rate is high? Well, basically, by looking at your products and by putting a lot of optimization being on your title, being on your feed, being on the way you present your product, on the way you are organizing your ads, on the way you are organizing your campaigns, etc., etc. So there is a lot we can do. There is a lot we do. So again, to give you like the real proper answer, we need to see what you're selling, how you're selling it, and then we can give you the very exact answer to your question. Hopefully we'll get a link to the recording. Yes, absolutely. You will get a link to the recording, and everything will be available. Question from Sean: what ROI is considered good for Kelkoo to be able to increase impression activity on Google Ads for merchants? Well, you tell me. I think it's a very interesting question in the sense that an interesting ROI is not depending on me. It's depending on you and your target. Because again, we are not here to work for Kelkoo. We're here to work for you as a retailer and make sure that you reach your goals, that you reach your commercial goals. So what ROI is considered for good? Well, I can give you a few ROIs, for fashion, for auto parts, maybe those kind of things, but it's not really interesting, because what is interesting for me, for us at Kelkoo, is what do you want to do? What is your target? And we will help you to achieve your target. So what ROI is considered good, that's what you need to tell me. I cannot tell you that. Next question: what are your source of publishers in the USA? I believe Google PLA campaigns only exist for the EEA at the moment, don't they? So PLA campaigns exist in the US as well, if I'm not mistaken, actually. I'm not a US specialist. And well, I can't really give you the sources of publisher now, because we'd be here for quite a long time. But again, contact us. We have a US team. We will redirect you to the US team, and they will be able to tell you how they generate traffic in the US, the type of different service you can have access to the US, and then you can decide if we are the good partner, if you are the right partner for you or not. Question from Kerstin. I don't want to say last question, because last time I said that, another bunch of questions came in, so I don't want to say that. So, does Kelkoo open up a new merchant center, or do you work with the existing merchant center of the merchant? So we work with your existing merchant center. When you switch to Kelkoo, you do not lose your history, because what we do is switching your merchant center. We had this in another question almost, so it's very connected to this other question. When we switch your merchant center, we switch it from Google Shopping or any CSS to Kelkoo. And by doing this, we make sure that you don't lose your history. After that, if you want to create new campaigns, if you want to create actually to launch a new set of products, we can definitely open a merchant center for you. Absolutely no problem. So it's up to you. But the short answer is no, we do not need to create a merchant center. We can definitely take over the existing merchant center. Can you explain ROAS again and how Kelkoo for Merchant works? So ROAS is a Google KPI. So I will let Fabien explain it, and then I will explain afterwards how Kelkoo works for merchants.
Yes, so you can run your shopping ads by selecting a ROAS, a target ROAS for your campaigns. Meaning, for example, you can say for this campaign targeting my the shoes I'm selling, I want a ROAS of 500%, meaning that every time I spend €1 on the campaign, I want to get back €5. So that's the KPI you monitor when you have a campaign based on ROAS.
And how Kelkoo works for merchants? Well, basically, it really depends on what you want us to do. So there are several levels of services. There are services where we can give you access to shopping ads and you remain 100%, let's say, at the wheel and manage your campaigns. And we leave you alone if you want. Or we can be in a let's say, in an environment where you still manage your campaign yourself, but we're here as a support and we help you to improve your campaign. Or there is a third level of service, basically, where we can actually manage the campaign on your behalf. You give us your KPI, you give us what you want to achieve, and our PPC consultant will manage your campaign and make sure that we achieve the target that you have given us. So that's how Kelkoo works with merchants. Does Kelkoo use ROAS for managed ads or performance? So we use ROAS for managed ads. Performance is an affiliate type service that Kelkoo offers. And again, ROAS is a Google KPI, so that's why it's used in managed ads. And we use ROAS, yes, definitely. And we not only use ROAS, but we define ROAS based on what you want to do, based on your plan, based on your development plan, based on where you are in your, let's say, in your commercial environment. If you are here to maybe gain visibility, or if you are here to sell products. Again, this is all the questions that will define which KPI we will follow. And if the KPI you want to follow is ROAS, we will definitely use ROAS and manage based on that. Right, it was the last question. So basically, I would say, I guess no question is coming in anymore. So I would say, let's continue briefly. So basically, last words I wanted to lose is that in the next episodes, as we were talking a bit, we're going to go a bit deeper. So we're going to answer quite a few questions that came up today as well. And we're going to look at how to set up Merchant Center. What are the best practices? How can we set up campaigns? How can we optimize campaign? How can we work on your relevancy and make you more visible, make you more reach your target? And how Kelkoo can help you in this particular context. So here is the slide. Come and talk to us. Again, send an email to this address, info@Kelkoo Group. Please contact us. We will be there to answer your questions. Please mention that you were participating in this webinar. So we'll put it on top of the list and we make sure that we reply to you very, very shortly. So I think I just have to thank you again for your participation today. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your questions, for all your questions. It was absolutely amazing. I'm basically, it's very rare to see that many questions. So thank you very much. And I hope you enjoyed the webinar. I hope you enjoyed everybody on this webinar. And yes, it has been recorded. So therefore it will be made available and you will receive communication shortly with the links to get the video of this webinar. Thank you very much. Thank you, Fabien, for your participation. Thank you, Frédéric. Thank you, Colin. I'll let you maybe have a word if you want to have the end word.
Yeah, thank you. No, thank you very much for this webinar. Thank you for all the questions. For sure, 52 questions. It was quite a lot, but happy to have participated and looking forward to seeing you again in the next session.
Yeah, big thank you all. It was very engaged. Great to see all the questions, and I think the next session should be really interesting also.
Fantastic. Then thank you very much again, everybody, and looking forward to seeing you in the next session. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.